UFC president there, Dana White, is in some hot water now. As you saw, this fight that broke out with his wife as he struck her a few times there. Looks like on New Year's Eve. It's a tumultuous New Year's Eve for many folks here. Dana White there then caught up with that whole thing. A few details before we go to what he had to say and his apologies and explanations. It all went down. He and his wife got physical with each other on New Year's Eve, as it points out from TMZ, stunning onlookers in a crowded Cabo San Lucas nightclub. An incident Dana says was regretfully fueled by booze. I think we could have assumed that. The UFC honcho and Ann White, who've been married for 26 years, were celebrating Saturday night with friends at Squid Roe. But things took a turn shortly after they all welcomed in 2023 at midnight, as you saw happen there. The couple and their group were in a VIP area above the dance floor when he leaned over to say something to her, and she reacted by slapping him in the face. And he slapped her back in the face, and they jumped in, tried to pull her apart. Everyone saw this happening. He went over to TMZ to talk about this whole thing because they were all over it. And he apparently didn't make any excuses, and he pointed out that he was in the wrong. Let's watch.
Happened that night? What happened leading up to that video?
Well, I'm in Cabo, Mexico, for the holidays with my family, and my wife and I were out Saturday night on New Year's Eve, and unfortunately, that's what happened. I'm one of the guys, you've heard me say for years, there's never, ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman. And now here I am on TMZ talking about it. But
he's on TMZ talking about it. We're wondering what the hell happened and what are you fighting with your wife for and striking her? Let's watch.
People who were in the club that it, at least to them, seemed that there was a lot of alcohol involved in this situation.
There was definitely a lot of alcohol involved, but that's no excuse. I literally am making no excuses for this thing at all. It's never happened before. It's the first time that it's ever happened, and people are going to say what they're going to say. It's just is what it is, and whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. It happened. I don't know why it happened, and my wife and I have apologized to each other. We've apologized to our kids. And, this is one of those things that everybody's going to chime in. I could care less what anybody else thinks about this. Right now, what we're more concerned about are our kids and taking care of our family.
I guess when you're a public figure like this, you have to worry about people have to say, because there's one columnist, David Ayol, I believe he's a combat columnist for Yahoo Sports. He had something to say. We'll see if this gains any traction. He said Dana White's life changed forever on the night of December 31st when he decided to slap his wife in the face while the couple was in Mexico celebrating New Year's Eve. He went on to say all the good White has done in the world, championing numerous charitable causes, creating thousands of jobs, privately going out of his way to help scores of needy, ill, and down on their luck people. He undid a lot of it when he chose to slap back after his wife first slapped him. And finally, he said he ought to be embarrassed, and it's a despicable act, and there's no excuse for it. The grainy video shows White holding his wife's wrist when she slaps him with her right hand on the left side of his face, and he responds by slapping her back. He thinks he should resign from being the head of UFC there. The next question then comes is, will that happen? Because it sounds like Dana White's going, whatever, bro. Yes, it was a problem. It was me. I shouldn't have done it. Fueled by alcohol and all that stuff. But stepping down, I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. What are your thoughts, David?
Wow, this is a tough one. First of all, the guy's been married for 26 years, so clearly he and his wife have some sort of understanding about each other, and if they in fact have forgiven each other, great by them. But what happens in their relationship, I think, should be separate from his standing and being in charge of UFC. And I do think that he should step away from UFC. I think it would be a good example for him to say, I clearly have some issues that I need to work on. I need to pay some attention now to my relationship with my wife to figure out what is it that caused me and her to sort of react the way we did. That's my focus now, not running UFC. Maybe at another point I'll come back. If he were to do that, then that would be a great example, and it would continue the sort of character that I think he has shown in the past. But if he's doing all this right now because he simply wants to hold on to his job, to me, then there's some issues that are not being solved and some problems that are not being fixed.
Yeah, excuse me. I guess most people want to see something where people grow and progress from some of their shortcomings, and he says he gets it. I guess the next step is to figure out if you can fix it. It's New Year's. maybe it's time for a couple resolutions. We like to do those things. So, horrible situation. I hope she is fine, and also that these things don't continue to happen. That's number one. Hopefully that doesn't continue on. But I'm not predicting him stepping down. But maybe that would help him to some degree, even if he thinks it's a PR move that may help him out with his business. We'll see.